I hear Chef that
Yeah, brother.
This man tell me.
I am aware that the People's Progressive Party does not want me as a leader.
Here.
The FBI is doing your investigation. Some aspect is coming back.
Wealth is not trickling down to the people of Guyana.
There will be additional.
Here.
I hear Chef that
Yeah, brother.
This man tell me.
I am aware that the People's Progressive Party does not want me as a leader.
Here.
The FBI is doing your investigation. Some aspect is coming back.
Wealth is not trickling down to the people of Guyana.
There will be additional questioning that is required. And that is, of course, I don't get involved with that.
Yeah, brother.
It is important for Venezuela to understand that Guyana will not be bullied, threatened, or intimidated.
Hello, good morning. Here.
I hear Chef that
Yeah, brother.
This man tell me.
I am aware that the People's Progressive Party does not want me as a leader.
Here.
The FBI is doing your investigation. Some aspect is coming back.
Wealth is not trickling down to the people of Guyana.
There will be additional questioning that is required. And that is, of course, I don't get involved with that.
Yeah, brother.
It is important that Guyana will not be bullied, threatened, or intimidated.
Hello, good morning.
Good night, guys, and welcome to this edition of Progress Report with the Critic. Sometimes I come on here because that's what I do. I come on every day. But sometimes I come on here because I feel compelled. Tonight, I'll explain the story of how black leaders sold their supporters to Mohammeds. I have the evidence. Simple. You imagine a PPP individual going to Coffee Square and beating a black woman? You imagine that? You imagine a PPP person dressed in a PPP shirt going to Coffee Square beating a black woman with a gun in your face? It happened. And nobody said anything. You know why? Aubrey Norton and Nigel Hughes sold their support base. They sold their souls to the Mohammeds. Sad state of affairs for this country. Mohammeds like attention. Azadin Mohammed was a past associate of mine. We were very close at one time. But he yearns attention. That's the only explanation I have. Not he alone, the others. Recently, he turned down going to a meeting because the meeting had a poor turnout. An old con man come back from America, get deported from America, as a matter of fact. Harbajan, y'all know Harbajan. Harbajan is called on the program. He looks after animals and so on. But these banners want to be part of something. They want to be owned. By the way, Harbajan lose the bank account. Everybody losing the bank account. We'll get to that just now. Here, Harbajan explanation for Mohammed incoming.
Policeman, Az was going to be here. I tell him.
Az was going to be here. This is the same banners what tell people and get $9,000 a bag for paddy. These banners still selling dreams.
And he said, we try to make it, but sometimes if he calculates his time to be here, you don't know how many times police will stop our presidential candidate before you reach borders. You're going to have a more transparency and profitable business because you know sometimes women they'll rum shop. A woman go 5, 6 of them I name to walk them back down.
That have already.
Is that how the system? This year budget is over.
He didn't turn up because only a few people turn up. But that's how the buy stay. Look, the PNC, look at the PNC. The PNC still has some political etiquette. They will turn up and preach to trees. As they don't turn up if 4 people that they not come. And Harbour John tell you get people. Harbour John never help people. Harbour John help dog, donkey, cow, fowl. Harbour John could get Animal Farm. It would have been Animal Farm if Azadine was an animal lover. You understand? They don't like dog. Muslims don't got dog in house something. They don't like, well, this is the impression I get from them. They don't like dog. Right? So, that's what we start here with. But when I tell y'all, the proof is there. This is Nigel Hughes going in the back gate, Nazar Mohamed and Azadine Mohamed going in the back gate by Nigel Hughes' office. Nigel Hughes said they went for advice in the back gate. One of the richest men in the country going in a man's back gate, a lawyer, an attorney at law. Practice. They chose to go in the back gate to ask for legal advice. I can't make up these things. Black leaders affiliated with the opposition don't lead. There's mislead. Don't mix up leadership and what is done by black leaders in the opposition. They mislead. That's all they know to do. That's a matter of fact. Hear this one. I can't make up these things.
I have outlined to you clearly that this whole concept of rigged elections is not rooted in this narrative of produce your SOPs and APNU delaying and didn't want to. No. That's nonsense. It is rooted in GCOM's own observations of the irregularities in the 2020.
Bear in mind, Dexter Todd, young attorney at law, now politician and black leader, is telling people that rigged election is rooted in GCOM's observation. The GCOM that Keith Lowenfield headed. The GCOM that Mortimer Mingo was a part of. The GCOM that gerrymander the election numbers. The same GCOM that Valder Lawrence forged documents with, the same GCOM, he suggested that they identified something.
The elections. And that is what has caused the problem. And it has nothing to do with the APNU government at that time.
Listen to me. These are not black leaders, you know. These are black misleaders. That is what they do. They mislead people. Hear this one.
When I listen to Barack Jackdio talk on one of his program about me. I said, it hurt. It hurt because I'm saying, you mean to tell me I am living in this country and these people don't even know who I am in my own country?
Indeed, sir. Who are you? Who are you? Lyndon Forbes Burnham? Are you the reincarnation of Burnham? Who are you, sir? Please tell us. Why should you be recognized, sir? What have you done that is not about your personal fame and would be about the development of Guyana? What have you done so far? What have you been a part of that Guyana should recognize you for? Oh, Adriana Young thing. Oh my God. As a result of what you did, Chinese were robbed, streets were burnt. Yes, sir. So even the people who remember you got a bitter taste in the mouth. It's like spit. It's evident you gotta get it out your mouth. Oh.
They never took an interest. Never took an interest.
It's not Martin Mingo, it's Clement Mingo. My apologies. Here.
I'm living in this country and these people don't even know who I am in my own country.
No, sir, I could tell you. You could ask school students at the school. Nobody knows who Dexter Todd is. And obviously, they will not. You know Basil Williams, sir? You know Basil Williams? You know Joseph Harmon? Ask secondary school students today if they know these guys. I'm talking about PNC people ask. People don't care to remember them. They misled people. They misled people. You are one of the misleaders.
Took an interest? Never took an interest?
No, sir.
And it is so easy to find out all the things that I'm involved in.
Who you expect to find out? The same people that you have told that they're suffering? You suggest they should stop looking for food and water. They should stop trying to survive and pay interest into the confusion that you're trying to create. Is that what you're suggesting, sir? Oh my. Oh my.
All the work that I'm doing internationally, they don't have a clue. Don't have a clue.
You're doing work internationally too, sir? And that has benefit Guyanese in some way, shape, or form? Oh man, it is unfortunate that you have not received rewards as yet. You might be listed very soon in the Guinness Book of World Records for all that you have done. What do you expect? A Grammy? A Grammy award for misleading the blacks of Guyana?
You are being misled. And you're being misled.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Is that me? I didn't see this one. I didn't see it. This man is the misleader. Dexter Todd the misleader, and he comes and accepts that he is misleading you. I didn't realize that.
Because whether the APNU has statements of poll, whether the
Let me get it back for the
you
top.
are being misled, and you're.
Well, we agree. You're saying the same thing I'm saying. I'm just suggesting that it's you who are misleading. We agree. So there's something that myself and Dr. Todd agrees on.
being misled because whether the APNU has statements of poll, whether the PPP has statements of poll, whether GCOM has statements of poll, it is not the statements of poll which has caused doubt on the elections.
No, it's not the statements of poll. The statements of poll is the 5 months we've waited. It is Mingo's, Claremont Mingo's, I said Mortimer, Claremont Mingo's attempts to gerrymander the numbers. Keith Lowenfield's attempts to gerrymander the numbers. That is what caused it. Right?
Statements of poll, it is not.
The statements of poll, let me tell you again.
You are being misled.
Yes.
And you're being misled
we know that's the extent of this discussion tonight. Yes, by you. Yes.
Because whether the APNU
You're being misled by because? No. We accept that we're being misled by you, Dexter Todd.
You are being misled. And you're being misled because...
No, not because misleading us. No. You are misleading us. We accept that. Wrong pronunciation and all. You are misleading us.
Whether the APNU has statements of poll, whether the PPP has statements of poll, whether GCOM has statements of poll, it is not the statements of poll which has caused doubt.
No. The fact that the PNC statements of polls cannot be found, the doubt is on the PNC, not on the elections. It's on the PNC. Because what you might not have known, sir, after the PNC statements of polls went missing, there was a reaccount. Right? Recount. So, SOP means statements of polls. And this is a record of how many people vote for who, where. Those are statements of polls. Then they had a recount that when the numbers were counted and they were compared to the statements of polls of other political parties and the PPP, it confirmed that the original statements of polls, of which the copies belonging to PNC, cannot be found onto today. So the lacking of statement of poll by the PNC has brought down on the PNC's credibility. Not the election, the PNC's credibility. The actions by PNC affiliated officials made everybody aware that they are attempting to rig an elections. Everybody saw it.
On the elections, it is the irregularities which GCOM itself highlighted.
You think it's a court of law? You never confuse people. Let me hear another thing.
You are being misled, and you're being misled because...
No, man. Why are you saying because it's misleading us? No, it is you. Don't blame anybody else, man. Come on, sir. You're an attorney at law. Come on. He suggested that because it's misleading us. No, it is you. We know. Oh, God. This guy needs some help. Now, this I came across since we're on it and we're covering everything that we could cover tonight. He's making a statement to the president and the vice president.
Social media, good afternoon, right? Let me tell you, massive them large yard one time. I come on the front here with my electrical fucking bike. When me bike, I need to know when me bike there because let me tell you, Mr. Jagio, finally, if I can't get my fucking bike, that don't come for me, right? Good.
They give you electric bike, what's the day in? Mr. President, please look into this matter. That's where you get when you don't put people to the place. I want to remind you of something. The discussion tonight is how you're being misled by black leaders. You're not being led by them, you're being misled by them. Nigel Hughes have been very silent on Azadine Mohamed and his sanctions and how people are affected. I have something here that I want you guys to look at. And then I will go back and give you all the evidence that culminates into this. This here is another black leader who continues
Running over.
this here. You got another one for me? You got another one of these? Remember I asked you to download the original, the whole thing. At the top. Roger that. Now, I want you to listen to this. This is Vincent Alexander, a man who's always played an interesting role in elections and confusion. The man who is about to speak sees himself as a black leader. Let me get.
And I don't know where you fix that.
Yeah. So
this is Globe Span, a show that used to be co-hosted by Charles Sogrim, who's now with Mohammed's, but didn't give up his visa, didn't give up his citizenship to be on his list. And this here is Timothy Jonas. And from all that Timothy Jonas speaks of, you guys remember Apolitical, the program with Kian Jabur, who now is a paid advocate for Mr. Mohamed. Paid advocate. Everything you see he thought, look at the narrative. So, Mohamed bought Anug. Timothy Jonas was one of the founding members, and Ralph Rankran, they left after they realized the dangers that they would have been in if they stayed associated with a party now owned by Mohammeds. Was sold to Mohammeds by Mark the Fraud. An individual who holds a PhD, which is said to have been acquired through fraudulent means. So, no, put it, oh, is you jumping there or I do it? Hold up.
I am not mistaken. The Director of Rural and Technical Matters being brought up. That might lead to the matter being
to play that video on Azadine Mohammed sanctions.
Now, I want to... So I'm giving you a little bit of background on what's going on here, right? So Timothy Jonas was a part of ANUG, a founding member of ANUG, and based on the programs that he play a role on my platform, is anti-government. I don't know if y'all get the sense. Listen to what Timothy Jonas had to say. That is after Vincent Alexander tried to mislead blacks again. This is a black leader. This is one of our premier black leaders, is the head of ACTA, Guyana's premier black organization, African organization as a matter of fact. And you want to know why people are so confused, where the confusion come from? Listen to this. Listen to the question and listen to what he had to say. And then you listen to what Timothy Jonas, an anti-government individual, what he had to say.
Accounts.
Because although, no, I must say, although what Timothy Jonas comes, how he comes off, it sounds anti-government. He's a principled attorney at law.
And goes back to that comment Rabbi Dev made about where the line has to be drawn. So just to establish, Azzedine Mohamed, what we found online regarding the OFAC sanctions. Devin, could you just play that video on Azzedine Mohamed sanctions?
On June 11, 2024, the U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, designated Azrudin Mohamed, along with his father Nazir Mohamed, several businesses, Mohamed's Enterprise, Hadi's World, and right to...
We know all this is about.
From ChatGPT, information that came from OFAC, given if...
so we hear
aware a political evasion of an election, or is it only on September 1st? I mean, it's a bit of frustration out there as well, Mr. Alexander, so go ahead.
Let me first of all say that all of the matters we have referred to so far do not differ from the one before us now, the Mohammed matter. So far as at the core of all of these matters is the question of corruption. At the core of all of these matters is the question of corruption, because the whole question of the sanctions and all of that is leading us back to what is Mohammed accused of, both in terms of the substantive acts and in terms of the procedural acts. So that we're dealing here with corruption. I think we need... Again, not clearly defined. Vincent Alexander trying to confuse black people. Not saying, but here, this is outright. This is this man, this is what this man do. You know why? He's part of a party, a political party that sold their supporters to Azzedine Mohamed. They've stayed silent and lead their supporters into a trap. Some people even lose their visa. Now their bank accounts they're losing. Listen to this. Emphasize that this is the problem that's confronted us. I want to go a bit further and see that this problem, in many regards, defines the ethos that the country has found itself in. Ethos the country has found itself in. Ethos where corruption is not an issue. The issue is when someone is dealt with for being corrupt. So the corruption has been, in a sense, normalized, and those who fight against corruption find themselves in the hot water, and the extent to which corruption is being normalized may well speak to the kind of response one gets in the Mohammed issue from two perspectives. One, I don't see any problem being associated.
You hear that? Vincent Alexander, a lecturer at the University of Guyana, a commissioner who sits on GCOM, says he doesn't see any problem with associated with Mohammed. Tomorrow I will read the OFAC sanctions for you guys again. Go to the page and read it. Listen to this man. Who listens to him? You know who listens to him? Blacks listen to him. Nobody else would listen to him. He's too tainted to be people to pay him mind. The lies and deceit that come from these people is like glaring in your eyes. I met this man once and we had a cordial, nice conversation. But I can't forget every time he come, like I there running for the 5 months and he come out and explaining what Mingo is doing and what is, I am like, yo, what wrong with you, man? What wrong with y'all, boy? Hear this man.
Mohammed issue from two perspectives. One, I don't see any problem being associated because what he's accused of doing has been normalized. So this might be in fact.
Imagine telling people, imagine being a part of a black leadership and telling people you see no problem. And then when people go up and losing their bank account and losing their visa, how you have to trust them, banner? These people would sell, people are being sold in this country. Something that was said to have been abolished years ago continues to happen. Look. Not me, sister partner. Look. Here.
Because what he's accused of doing has been normalized. So this might be in fact a case of people. But one gets in the Mohammed issue from two perspectives. One, I don't see any problem being associated because what he's accused of doing has been normalized. So this might be in fact a case of victimization. That's on one hand. And on the other hand, well, so why you want to interfere with us who are also engaged in what has been normalized? And in that regard, one can then look to the sanction, not the sanctions, to what the bank has done, and to raise the question of the nature of corruption. Because it may be argued that the bank system has now been corrupted.
You listen to this man trying to explain. You listen to this man. The hate and racism in these people is ridiculous. Listen, and Timothy Jonas will explain what is the reality of the banking system, and Timothy Jonas is not a PVP.
In this whole situation of corrupt acts and which side you're on determines how it is dealt with or not, bank is now brought into this question. So I pose the question in the context of democracy, whether at the corporate level.
You know why these guys would never be remembered? Although people continue to support them, like how your daughter and your son and your wife will always love you. They know bullshit when they see bullshit. Imagine this man sits here and eloquently misleads black people. about the corporate level and corruption and speak about it nicely, and people losing their visa. But who is me? As an outcast, who is me? If it wasn't because the many good, hard-working blacks that I know, black intellectuals, and black people around the world, upstanding black people, if it wasn't for them, I would have said, man, let it do whatever they want to do with one. But I can't stand by and see people like this lie and bring down the old. And he is a black leader.
Are not equally responsible to behave in a manner that is equivalent to good governance as much as the public sector or the government has that responsibility. And I would seek to answer the question by saying that my understanding is that governance is applicable at every level of society. Of course, it's most applicable at the level of the government. It's applicable even in the corporate world.
Absolutely, yeah.
Therefore, question which arises immediately here is this bank discriminatory in its dealings, or is it evidence that the bank is not transparent? And I'm using the term transparent in its technical understanding in the governance context. So is the bank not transparent, and therefore itself finding itself being corrupted or being corrupt by virtue of what it is doing to a set of clients, which it might not have done to other clients.
Bear in mind, this man is lectured UG, eh? I could only imagine the retarded intellectuals that coming out of UG. You listen to them, banner this, guide and mislead the people. I tell y'all, they ain't got black leaders, they got black misleaders. The opposition is bare black misleaders. Trying to explain, while OFAC clearly states the effects of association with the Mohammeds.
Found themselves in a very similar situation in relation to relationship with Mohammed, or in relation to the whole question of being sanctioned. I think that the sanction issue, one also has to look at the way in which in this world in which we live, certain powers have emerged as if they are in fact the rulership of the world.
Man, listen to me. Let Timothy explain this thing.
Domestic relations.
Yeah. So Rabiji, at some point we need to take responsibility of our own action within our country. That is, since independence, we've been blaming the Brits, we've been blaming the States, mainly.
It's called dollarization banks that they must hatch. Your manifesto is
Magnitsky sanction.
These banks at this juncture with
candidates. We also appeal
deserves unwillingly
agreed. And the approach of
such directive. Other than that, it's been construed by the general public that it is political victimization. So just to have a plain talk about it, Timothy, Jonas, if you can.
Okay. Well, no, for the first time, I'll have to say that I don't approve of the approach you took, and I'll tell the public why, in the interest of a plain talk. Vincent gave an opinion, which I don't agree with, and I'll get back to. Ravi then gave a contrasting opinion. He disagreed. And the approach Ravi took, I agree with, and I'll get back to why. But this is the first time in my experience on this show that instead of being invited to give an opinion, an attempt has been made to constrain and constrict my response. And I can say for full disclosure that I believe the reason for that is that Nohar had in another forum, in a conversation, raised this with me, the issue of the Demerara Bank. And I had responded to him in much the same line as Ravi had. And I will get into that. And Nohar at the time had disagreed. We disagreed, but I'd given my points. But I am taken by surprise now, because what I am confronted with is a written, formal statement that I don't agree with, and an invitation not to respond to the statement, which invitation I'm going to decline. Now, for full disclosure, I am on the board of DDL, but I have nothing to do with Demerara Bank. I have no association with them, even though DDL is an associated company. So I'm not on Demerara Bank's board. I have nothing to do with their management, and nothing to do with their internal mechanisms. So, let me get back to why I disagree with the statement that was just read on behalf of Globespan. The running of a private money-making institution is not the same as the running of a government institution. A government needs to be fair because a government represents the people. A money-making institution doesn't need to be fair, it needs to make a profit so that it can pay dividends to its shareholders. And in order to make a profit, it has to provide a service that is better than its competitors and more efficient than its competitors. So I disagree with Vincent when he talks about transparency. Because if there was transparency, then poor Colonel Saunders would have to share the recipe for his chicken, and all his competitors would then be selling just as good chicken as Saunders is. DDL would have to give the recipe for the best rum in the world, and all their competitors would then be selling the best rum in the world just like them. So in a private institution, there's no transparency. There's a competitive approach to try to do better than your competitors so you make more money than them and you pay more dividends to your shareholders. Now, Ravi Dev made another point. He said that the rules of the Americans are not granular, is the word he used. There's no hard and fast rule that in these circumstances you will be sanctioned, in those circumstances you won't be. There's no hard and fast rule that if you allow these people to bank in your institution, you will run into problems, but if you allow this other set to bank, you will not run into problems. It is a matter of interpretation and subjectivity of the people in charge in the states who are implementing the system. So us here, the little people, we don't know. And we're minuscule, as Ravi Dev points out, $1 trillion business, $1 trillion economy in Russia. The Russian banks are sanctioned. So you say to a money-making institution, a bank that has to make a profit, not just that you disagree with them in deciding that they don't want to take a risk of continuing to allow people to bank with them that they think might expose them to ostracism from the American system. You want to say you condemn it. And I gotta say nonsense, and I'll tell you why I say nonsense. Guyanese, more and more, are understanding the global economic village. You got credit cards. Everybody in this forum got a credit card. Look at it. It says Visa. It says American Express. Look at your debit card. It says Visa. When your family abroad sending money to you, they send money through the correspondent bank that GBTI or Demerara Bank or Republic Bank or Scotia Bank has abroad in the States. That's where the money comes from. And when you want to send money away, or you want to go and shop on Amazon, or you want to go online and buy something using your credit card or your debit card, your bank has to make that request to the bank in the States, to the correspondent bank in the States. So the day your bank in Guyana loses that relationship with the correspondent bank in the States because they allowed a Mohamed, Azruddin Mohamed, to continue to bank with them, or an associate of Mohamed, or an associate of an associate with Mohamed. The day Republic Bank, GBTI, Demerara Bank, Citizens Bank, any one of the local banks is punished because it has a customer and has not let go of that customer, you can't go on Amazon and shop anymore. You can't use your Visa card anymore. You can't use your American Express card anymore. And the next day that bank collapses financially. So when a bank that is competing with other banks has to make a commercial decision, what do I do? We got these people banking here with us. 10 people, 20 people, 100 people. But we got 20,000 other customers. All of them with credit cards. All of them want to use it, their credit cards, their debit cards, want to send money abroad, bring money in, want to do business, buying from merchants abroad to sell. What do we do? Do we...
Nohar Singh might be a paid actor of Azadeen Mohamed also, because one of Azadeen's main campaign strategists is Charles Sugrim, who has a very close relationship with Nohar Singh. And if you look at the question asked and threats to democracy and future generation, they're playing the ask and the question. They're playing like the neutral on the program. But it might not be so anymore if Mohamed buy them out.
Oh, we are going to take a chance to destroy ourselves and destroy our shareholders? Or are we going to let those 10, 20, 100 customers go to ensure our continuity and ensure our competitiveness? Speaking for me personally, I would feel very, very aggrieved if my bank took a chance on my money, on my credit card, on my Visa, on my debit card, and kept a customer who is associated with a sanctioned person, so that they lost their correspondent banking and suddenly all my cards went to naught. Suddenly I couldn't have those facilities anymore, knowing full well that that bank would immediately become an economic disaster. It would go bankrupt. It would be a run on the bank.
Yeah.
Because everybody would take their money out of that bank to go somewhere else where they could get a credit card or a debit card.
Yeah.
And the shareholders that own that bank would be even more aggrieved than me, because the value of their shares would go to zero in a month.
Yeah.
So I would challenge you, before you condemn and before you try to convince people that a government institution where they get free money for taxpayers and therefore can continue to award contracts corruptly, knowing that it doesn't matter, they got more free money coming tomorrow, they can award more contracts.
Timothy Jonas is not talking for the government, He's still anti-government approach, but it's being factual about what's going on as it relates to sanctions and the banks and people losing their account and the possibility of banks losing their correspondent relationships.
Can never be treated like a commercial, competitive institution that is making money, answerable to its shareholders, and has to run its business safely and competently, so in the interest of those shareholders. Don't draw that comparison.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim. And one of the greatest points of this program is that we agree to disagree.
Yeah, the man said we agree to disagree by trying tonight when I use certain language. I want you guys to listen to this. This was on a Mark Benchcop program. I want you guys to listen to this.
The U.S. Congress warns OFAC, sanction Azadeen Mohamed is a pro-Maduro puppet. Putting aside the pro-Maduro puppet, but U.S. Congress warns OFAC, or is it a congressman warns OFAC? I don't know what's going on here. Put the pieces together, please, Tom.
Yeah, so there's a congressman down here called Mr. Carlos Jimenez.
Check out this
He's
limit.
from the Miami area.
Pause. Check out this limit thing. You plug all this and plug him back and see what's the problem here, man. I know why.
The U.S. Congress warns OFAC, sanction Azadeen Mohamed is a pro-Maduro puppet. Putting aside the pro-Maduro puppet, but U.S. Congress warns OFAC, or is it a congressman warns OFAC? I don't know what's going on here. Put the pieces together, please, Tom.
Yeah, so there's a congressman down here called Mr. Carlos Jimenez. He's from the Miami area. He's in the whole group with Marco Rubio, and I've told the audience before, and you guys should hear this, okay?
An American citizen. For the first time, it seems that a black man could use logic to educate his fellow black brothers. Mark Benchcop is listening to this, and I don't see the putting it out there. I don't know how much of them get buyout. I don't think highly unlikely Mark Benchcop would take bought out.
Cuban members of our congressional caucus, you know, they have their own network of intel guys that are different from United States intel stuff. Like, they have access to information in the Caribbean that a lot of people don't have. And so whenever you hear a Cuban member of our Congress speak...
Before we move off, let me remind you, Vincent Alexander, who heads up the business of ACTA, an organization was created to suggest that doing development for black people, got hundreds of millions of dollars and did nothing, and now hustling for, say, doing and supporting and thing. Same Vincent Alexander will come up with all the bullshit just now. Says not now they making black people a konomunu. Not now they misleading black people. It's long.
On something on the international level, they're speaking from a place of knowledge. I'm telling you. And they know more than just what our government's telling them. They get information from on the ground, through the Catholic Church, through a lot of different areas. And so when you hear a member of Congress like this speak out publicly and say, hey, Azruddin Mohammed is a pro-Maduro puppet, what he's saying is the intel that we have, the information we have in the United States, and the information that they have been getting is information telling them that Azruddin Mohammed is doing everything that he's doing in order to benefit Maduro and his smuggling operation. Because remember, Maduro,
I say Agda.
He uses Trinidad like his own little smuggling island.
What's Agda? What's Agda? Agda is another African organization. Ipadaji.
So the Venezuelans have been very active under Maduro in smuggling all types of stuff out of the Amazon. Okay, this is just what they do. Maduro's a crook, man. He's a thief, and he's looking to steal from Guyana. So of course, if Maduro's going to plug into Guyana and try to steal from the people of Guyana right next door to him, who is Maduro going to work with? He's going to work with smugglers. Azruddin Mohammed is a smuggler. And I've said it before, okay? The reason why he's running for president is real simple. He sees it like this. He's under sanctions himself personally. But if he becomes president, then he can make the entire nation be under sanctions. And so that way, everybody will be like him, and his situation will be fixed. So he doesn't have to get off sanctions. All he has to do is put all the rest of you in Guyana under sanctions, and now he's back on the top of the mountain. That's his goal. That's his plan. And so when you hear our members of Congress say, oh, he's a pro-Maduro puppet, what they're saying is, oh, this guy's running for office so that he can become president, and he can make it so that the entire nation of Guyana will be under sanctions. And when that happens, guess what? Maduro takes over Guyana, right? And what will happen is all of Guyana, you will lose everything. They will rob you blind. Because once you're under American sanctions, the entire country, then you're like a black zone to us and our government, which means that every government in the world is going to see you and easily pick you apart. Because what they're going to say is okay, well, your nation can't even bank with the United States. Your people can't bank with anybody in Europe. You can't even fly to the United States, because that's what will happen with sanctions. No one in Guyana will even be able to come to America, right? And when you're under that situation, the rest of the world will rob you blind. Because what are you going to do then? Are the people of Guyana going to go to China and say, oh, protect us, stop people from stealing everything from us? And so that's Azruddin Mohammed's plan. You know, he wants basically to get out from underneath sanctions by putting the whole country under sanctions. And that would benefit a lot of people around the world, including some Americans. There are some Americans who would love for Guyana to be under sanctions, because then it would be so easy to rob your country blind, and there's nothing you guys will be able to do.
How much more people got to tell y'all, man?
Underneath the guy.
How much more people got to tell y'all? I hear somebody send me something, or there's a primers they're lying in Bartica. Let me hear what the lie is they're saying. We gotta do this tomorrow morning. I've been up since this morning. I've been on the road. And so I'm tired, guys, but I had to do this. I had to educate you guys. I had to come. Let me hear what Odessa's Prime is saying.
What is your plan for the economy? What is my plan for the economy? Yeah.
Mass confusion. When you ask them a question,
What is my plan for the economy? Yeah.
hold on. Mass confusion. When you ask
Running of a private money making.
What is your plan for the economy? What is my plan for the economy? Yeah. What do you want?
this take everything and make joke. That is when you try to put a comedian. You know, the banner running Ukraine was an actor. Do bear shepherdess as I go. And that's the best movie Ukraine ever get. Now, thousands of people lost their lives. Most of Ukrainian cities close to Russia in ruins. Here. This is one of Azadin Mohammed's candidates. Here, I can't make up these things.
Plan for the economy. What is my plan for the economy? Yeah. What do you want? You guys want a crazy election. Right, but this is not a question and answer segment. But I want you to start the place I'm going to explain to you. No, listen to me. You ask me a question, let me answer you. You know that I'm going to use it tonight. Our plan for the economy. You ask me a question, hold on. Yeah. Our plan for this economy has several different segments. As it relates, shut your mouth and listen, man. That's why you left behind the glass. You don't know what you're left behind.
Those are paid followers. Because on a campaign trail, that is what you do. Explain what you're going to do. You don't gaff. You don't laugh. This is not a reggae show. What are you going to... Valid question. One question. What you going to do for the academy? Everybody jump up. She makes herself an ass, have no answer to give. We'll deal with that in the morning. Put in the folder in the morning. Guys, I want to thank you for this opportunity. For me to come once again and re-educate you. Looking forward to seeing you guys early in the morning.